Okay, so here's the deal. We're gonna have a little chat. I'm gonna tell you guys something that I was originally thinking that I was not gonna share with you guys at all, but I do think that it's worth chatting with you guys about, worth sharing, because it's honestly just real life. So last week we were sitting over here and we had decided that we were gonna try to take the kids to the Keys, because those of you guys who were here, like when I was pregnant with Harper and stuff, you guys know that we had a trip planned to the Keys and then it ended up getting canceled because I was told I had to go to labor like 3 weeks early with Harper. So the kids were super bummed, they were upset, and that trip, you know, ended up not happening because we had Harper. Then Harper was born and we had all the trauma of, you know, like NICU life and being separated from the kids, and the kids went through a lot, I went through a lot, Joe went through a lot, like we all went through a lot with the birth of Harper. And so last week we had kind of like decided, Joe's still on paternity leave, we were like, why don't we just try to do another trip to the Keys? Like, try to make it happen now. Those of you guys who have been around long enough, you know, my grandparents have a house in the Keys. So when we go down there, it's usually super nice because we don't have to pay to stay anywhere. And then we can just like spend the time. Like, the kids love to like be out fishing, and like in the backyard, they go fishing. And like, just like a change of scenery, you know, like something nice and novel, something different to get us out of here and to like experience something as a family of 6, and like to give the big kids some fun memories and things that they look forward to doing. There's a little like state park there that I wanted to take them to, and so whatever, I had all these grand plans of things that we would possibly do. I was really excited, and like I knew that it was going to be hard work. Like I knew that going anywhere with a newborn, with Sean, who's almost 2, and then the big kids, like I knew that it's not gonna be a vacation by any means, because to go anywhere with children is not a vacation. Do not let anyone lie to you. It is literally just, like they say it on Instagram all the time, it's just parenting with a better view sometimes. Like, it's just parenting in a different place. That's kind of what I was thinking going into it. Like, I'm gonna have hard colicky moments because Harper's been colicky. We're gonna have some hard times, and it's not gonna be how it used to be going to the Keys. It's gonna be work, but like whatever, at least I'll have a pretty view. At least I'll get to see the sunset. Like, at least it'll be a little bit nicer than being home. It's very boring details, but we were gonna go later in the month, then we ended up having to push it because somebody else needed to use the house. So we pushed it up and we left like spur of the moment. We left on Friday. Like, we were told on Thursday kind of like, hey, if you want to take the trip, it's got to be like starting tomorrow. And so we decided, let's just do it, because if not, we're not going to get to do it while Joe's still on paternity leave. And so we packed everything up like crazy people. And at first I'm like, okay, you know, we're packing a lot of stuff. Like, yes, we needed some things for Harper that we wouldn't have needed if if Harper hadn't been born yet. Like, I had to take the baby bouncer, and I had to take, what else did I have to take specific to her? We're co-sleeping, so she didn't need like a specific place to sleep. I took her little play mat. We had to take the pack and play so that Sean had somewhere to sleep. Like, there's a lot of logistical things that you have to remember when you're traveling with little ones. So yes, there was like this mental load of making sure I had certain things, the carrier for Harper, the stroller, all of that. But I was still kind of like, okay, this is not too bad. We can make this happen. So whatever, we pack up all of our stuff and we arrive at the Keys. At first it was super nice, and you know, the big kids were super stoked to be there. I was excited because I grew up going to that place, and like it's some of like my favorite views ever, like being in the Keys. So at first I was like, this is good, like, you know, we can do this and it's gonna be a nice weekend. And don't get me wrong, we had some good like moments, we had some good memories made. All of this to say, like, we were supposed to be there until Wednesday and we went home on Sunday. Like, we came home from this trip early. Like, that's all that I'm here trying to tell you, and I'll tell you why, and I'll tell you the backstory. But we came back from this trip early because it killed us. Like, it nearly killed us going somewhere with a newborn, with a toddler. I guess what I'm trying to convey over here is that I obviously love our family as a family of 6, right? I am super happy that we have a newborn. But the logistics of having 4 kids now and having kids at different ages is really hard. When we were on this trip, like, there were obviously experiences and memories that I wanted the big kids to be able to make, because Riley is 7, she's gonna be 8, and Jackson is 5, going to be 6. So like, they're bigger, there's so many things that they love to do. They love to fish, they love to be out in the water and like finding crabs, flipping through rocks, and like all of that adventure-y, homeschooly kind of stuff that they just live for. they like that's what I want them to be able to still do. So when we were in the Keys, that required Joe and I to kind of split up, and Joe was with the big kids, like he'd be with them fishing downstairs because it's also super hot. So like I knew going into it, we weren't going to spend a lot of time all of us together because Harper's still little, even Sean, who's 2, is still little. It's miserably hot outside right now. Like we're literally like in the middle of like a heat wave. So I wasn't going to like make Harper be outside and like she can overheat. Like we're not stupid. Like there's certain things that, you know, we're very much aware of, and like, you know, I need to make sure that I'm taking care of my baby. So I was inside most of the time with Harper and with Sean. But in those rare moments where like we were trying to do stuff all of us together, it was just hard because Sean still wants to do some of the stuff that the bigger kids can do. For example, like when we were at the Keys, there's like a place where they can fish, and like the big kids know when they're with Joe, first of all, they wear life jackets so that they don't fall into the ocean and like, you know, like have anything bad happen to them. But there's like a ledge, and the kids know you can't pass the ledge or you'll fall in the water. Sean is still 2. So Sean, it's still a lot more of like chasing after him and running after him, making sure that he doesn't fall, making sure that he doesn't do certain things. At one point, you know, the big kids wanted to be in the hot tub because there's like a hot tub outside of the house. Big kids can use a hot tub. I can tell them don't pee in the hot tub. They're not going to pee in the hot tub. A 2-year-old is going to pee in the hot tub. So I was like, Sean, you cannot use the hot tub. So then there's like meltdowns because he wants to do what the big siblings are doing. Again, just trying to show you like a few examples of things where, you know, you have kids of different ages and there's certain things that some of them can do and that others cannot. And then that is a challenge because you do kind of have to either decide we don't do this at all, or like you kind of split your time between the 2 different groups. So we find ourselves at a stage, I guess, in our family right now where we are living with children in 3 different groups. I consider the big kids one group. Riley and Jackson are like group 1. Then Sean is group 2 because he's in toddlerhood, like which is chaos. It is wild and it is just, it's not for the weak, my friends. Like this is the hardest time in my opinion, like physically and like chasing after them, making sure they don't put stuff in their mouth, making sure they don't fall off a chair. Like physically it is demanding and it is hard. And then the 3rd group is like newborn life. So I've got kids in 3 different stages and I'm trying to navigate like how we go about doing things. Sorry, my camera keeps falling because I have you here like on the toaster oven, the little Breville we have. So whatever, point is, there's a lot that we are still adjusting to. And obviously, we have not got it down to a perfect science. Will we ever? No, but you know, we're still trying to figure out that balance of how do we give the big kids what they need and make sure that we're not like, I don't know, like I have so much guilt almost, like if I'm being real with you guys, because you guys are my friends. I have like this guilt that like I'm not giving the big kids what they need and what they desire, what they want, or that like I'm not giving Sean what he needs and he wants because I'm so worried about like what the big kids need and want. You know, like you feel like you're pulled in so many directions when you have multiple kids, and that's just like the reality of it. So that's something that I'm still like very much praying about, and we're trying to figure out like what can we do, like what is realistic, like what is realistic for us as a family of 6, what kind of outings can we do, what kind of vacations can we take at this moment, and like if we are going to do those things, what kind of prep we need, or like what should our expectations be going into it so that we all leave semi-content and that we don't kind of like set ourselves up for failure. So it's an adjustment for sure, and I just find myself in that like just discerning what can we do, because I don't want to just say like, oh, we have a newborn, or oh, we have a toddler, Sean is difficult, so that means that for the next 2 years like we cannot do anything, because I don't think that's fair to the big kids, right? Like there's certain outings that we're just gonna try to do, but we have to maybe better plan for, or say, hey, that's something that maybe Joe is just gonna do with the kids and maybe I stay back, and like just figure out how it's gonna, I don't know, just be better for everybody. But I don't want to just say like, okay, we're not going to do anything, because I mean, we could, it would be way easier to say, hey, for the next like 2 years, we're not going anywhere. We're not going to go on any trip. We're not going to do anything physically and mentally, emotionally, like it would be easier to do that. It's just I don't want to do that. Like I want to still enjoy this time with our family. You know, obviously the Lord has given us these kids and he's allowed us to be like stewards of them. And so we're trying to make sure that we steward that responsibility well and that we give each of them what they need. But yeah, we went to the Keys and it was a hot mess. Like it was just not a good time. Like again, we had pockets of good times. We had little moments. There was a moment where we were outside like on the terrace and we did watch the sunset and we were having dinner like as a family, all of us. Harper was sleeping. But there were so many other moments where like that environment was not conducive for like Sean or like, you know, Harper not being able to be outside and like most of the day. So it was very challenging and we were very humbled. We definitely, again, were like, okay, we bit off more than we could chew. Add to that the fact that like we had all had kind of like colds and like just like a regular like, you know, runny nose, cough. We had been dealing with that. And then I just figured like, hey, we'll just, you know, if we're going to be sick here in our house, like whatever, we'll be sick there. Like we were going to be the only ones in the house anyway. So what does it matter? Well, it mattered because then we were all like just, you know, sick. And then Sean ended up having, like we didn't like how his cough was. He ended up in the emergency room down in the Keys. Like it was just a mess, a disaster. That's like a different story because sickness or no sickness, it was still just rough. Like we went to John Penny Camp one of the nights, like we waited till it was like the sun was down so that it wasn't too hot for Harper. She was in the carrier and like we had a good time. The kids like waded in the water. But then at one point Sean just started having like an epic meltdown where we were like, okay, no, we can't do this anymore. We need to go. Sean is not in a good place. And then of course, you know, the big kids don't want to leave. They're having a great time. They're not having meltdowns. They're fine. And now we have to leave this fun thing that they're doing because their brother's having a meltdown, but they're brothers too. And like trying to explain to the kids, like, you know, I love you. I'm trying to do this fun, good thing for you. But at the same time, like your brother and you have like a newborn sister and like sometimes we may have to adjust the plans. You know, trying to explain all of that to a 5 and 7-year-old is also hard. But it's just something that we're trying to work through. And now granted, if I hadn't had a newborn and I was just dealing with Sean, then it would be easier, right? Because either Joe or I could be with the big kids and then we have another parent to just be with Sean. But like if I'm with Harper, it's hard for me to take care of Harper plus like a tantruming 2-year-old. And Joe is now in here because he's getting ready to go do his workout. He's like, what are you recording? I'm recording just a recap of the disastrous trip that we took. You have any words of advice, anything to say? It was harder than we thought it would be.
It was a challenge.
It was a challenge. So next time.
We bit off more than we can chew.
Yeah, it was just not fun.
We're not capable of doing all the things that we think we are with a family, as a family of 6. So.
Yeah, not yet, but we'll, you know, the kids will get older and it will be easier. We just realized that, you know, we've got to maybe do a little less, or again, just go into these experiences or whatever with just lowered expectations. Again, it's just part of figuring it out. So all of that to say, like, if you guys, if any of you are entering into a new season where maybe you have a new baby, or you're entering a new season where now you have a toddler and you have older kids, like, it's okay if you don't get it right off the bat, like the juggling of things. It's okay to go through these things and then realize, like, okay, we need to like adjust and pivot and be like, this isn't working, and just try something new. Anything else you want to share?
Just being real with myself. Like I want to do everything I can. I want to be the best I can be and the best dad, the best husband, and do all the things and be the superhero, but
we have limitations.
Yeah.
We can't do it everything that we want.
And when I'm not 100%, I can't give you all 100%. There's a lot.
Yeah, it forced us to have a lot of conversations, him and I. And ultimately, I feel like it was still, like, we needed that. We needed to go through that experience, and we needed to have that, like, reality check of, like, yes, this is hard. This is difficult. And then, like, kind of talk through, like, how we would, you know, how we would approach this moving forward. Or having those conversations with the kids, I think, was important, and just having time like ourselves to reflect on like, hey, there are all these things that we want to do, but like we have limits. Like we have limits just physically. Like Joe and I are getting older. Like I'm gonna be 35, he's gonna be 42. Like we have physical limits, and even though we want to give our kids a world and we want to be able to take them to all the events, all the activities, all of the things, like we literally can't. We just will die if we try. Like we'll just burn out and die.
Your selfless approach. You want to give your kids everything you want, and you don't want
to tell them no.
No, but you don't want to, like, I want to do things for me, but that's selfish. I should give all to my kids. But man, that just starts wearing on you.
Well, that's why
it
like
makes you feel terrible. And you're like, I just need a break, but I can't break. I can't take a break because I got to be there. If I take a break, I'm being selfish. Can't sustain that.
Yeah, so we talked a lot about like, making sure that we're each having time for ourselves, right? Because like he was like, a big thing that he was saying was like, I can't give you guys 100% if I myself am not 100%, which I feel like I'm sure all of us mamas feel like it's important that we take care of ourselves, that we're eating good, that we're taking care of our faith life, our spiritual life.
That's been lacking too the past 2 months. I'm off my routine, and the enemy loves that. The enemy, that's just ripe battlegrounds for the enemy to take advantage. And you can stay spiritually resilient for some time, but again, eventually, without that reset and recharge, whether it be going to adoration, sitting in adoration, spending time at church, spending time with the Lord, the battle rages.
Yeah.
And everything else starts to crumble from there.
Yeah, like we were like, obviously we're not spending enough time, both of him and I, like in prayer, in our Bibles. I've been feeling that like since she was born, because life is just so much busier. And Joe had his own routine when he would go into work. He was praying a rosary on the way to work. He was, just doing more of that kind of stuff. And then Harper was born, and we were very connected to our faith during the experience of her being born, I would say, right? We were put in a position where we were just like, we had a lot of quiet time when we were in the NICU, like as wild as that is. Like we didn't have like the craziness of full-time life with 4 kids. But when we brought her home, like finally, these last like, a month and a half or whatever it is, like it's been a lot. It's been go, go, go. It's been trying to make sure that she's happy. She's been kind of colicky the last few weeks, which has been really difficult. And then keeping the other kids entertained. And it's just been a lot. And so that has, I guess we've kind of not prioritized our faith life as much as we would like to. And then you end up feeling it. So taking care of ourselves, like in all the ways, like we've got to take care of ourselves. We have to make sure that we're still, like he needs to be doing his workouts, like all of that. So that way we can show up for the kids, because when we're drained and depleted, like we have nothing left to give to the kids.
And we haven't figured it out yet.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't have a solution.
We're just, hey, we've identified the problem. We've named the problem out loud.
Yeah.
So the enemy doesn't have a stronghold on that.
Mm-hmm.
We're aware of it now. It's just praying and working through how to overcome. And
yeah. So yeah, this is not a video of like, hey, we have solved the problem. We just identified there was a huge problem because we tried to go on a vacation and it sucked. So yeah, we're just doing the best that we can. We're just like, again, just real people trying to figure out life with 4 kids. And I'd be a freaking liar if I just told you that it's super easy and just show you pictures of her looking cute with her bows. It is hard. It's like, it is the hardest thing
I've ever experienced.
Yeah, but coming from Mr. I only wanted 2 kids, was this a mistake?
No. This is all, there's me. It's fulfilling. It's not that I hate it or I regret it or I don't like it. It's very fulfilling. There's freedom in it. It's hard to see it, but there is true freedom.
But it is hard.
It's very hard, but it's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be.
It's like working out. Working out is hard and it hurts. But the more you do it and the more you create a habit of it, the stronger you become. Same thing here. The part that we were missing was you need time for yourself. Mm-hmm. I need time for myself. Little snippets of reset time are few and far between.
Yeah.
So it's managing that realistically, and yeah, we just bit off way too much.
To the point, you guys, where my mom had to come to Key Largo to rescue us. Like, if I'm being real, Mimi literally had to drive down to Key Largo to rescue us because I thought we were gonna die. Like, I called her, granted, I called her the night that Joe rushed Sean into the emergency room at Mariners Hospital because, like, he didn't like how he was breathing, so there was, like, a lot of fear in that, too. Like, you know, imagine, like, I'm there with the kids, and then my little one is having issues, but then I can't be with him in the emergency room. Like, I was a disaster. So I called my mom, and I was, like, in a panic, like, we're just not having a good time, and now Sean is in the emergency room. And she's like, I will be there. So it was a huge blessing to have her come and save us, and I will always see that vacation or that trip as, you know, the time that Mimi had to come and save us. But, yeah. That's just how our vacation went. That is how our trip went.
It's just like I told you yesterday, the thing that came to mind about Sean. I mean, yeah. As she said, I didn't want, you know, I was a 2-kid person before finding Christ. I didn't want any more kids. I didn't want, you know, 2 kids was enough struggle. And, you know, Sean was our third. And I typically, not in a bad way, I don't mean it in a negative way, but, you know, he's realistically finding the faith, he was the kid that I didn't want. But it's fascinating how yesterday, and even through the ER visit, which was terrible, and I can't believe he still enjoys me, given how he hated it, and I had to hold him down on numerous occasions while he's screaming.
Yeah, because they had to give him medicine. They had to do like a breathing treatment on him and stuff.
But the kid that I didn't want is the one that wants me and needs me the most. Even yesterday, just constantly, you know, wanted to be with me and wanted me to hold him and hug him. And
he's like obsessed with him now. He's like, Daddy, help me! Daddy, help me! If I tell him no for something, he's like, Daddy, where are you? Daddy,
again, it's fulfilling. It's like that makes all of it worth it. No matter how hard the struggle is, no matter how hard or how low you get or how dark it gets, that's the light. And no, it's big.
So the
things.
So the tantrums and like how wild he has been in like the last couple months, still worth it?
Yeah, of course. It's all worth it. I'm not Superman.
Yeah.
I can't be super dad and super husband. I want to be, but I can't. I gotta be real.
And that's okay.
Be humble and just be like, okay, I need to take a breather. Freestyle wasn't expected to be.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Interviewed.
No, it's okay. I'm just chatting with my friends. It's not an interview. Just trying to tell you what it's like to be a parent with, you know, again, with 4 kids now. Okay, sorry. I wasn't expecting for Joe to come down here or that he was going to feel chatty and want to say anything to the camera. And I don't even remember what I was saying or where we were at in this story. But yeah, I pray that with my content, like, it never comes across as like we have it all figured out, because clearly we do not. But I have loved over all of these years being able to just share, like, this is what our reality looks like right now, and like, it's okay that we don't have it like 100% figured out, but we're like still like working on it. Like, I've been a mom for almost 8 years now. There are still parts to being a mom and now like just family life in general that we're trying to like navigate, because things are always changing, right? Like the season of life, sorry, my freaking camera, I don't have a tripod. The season of life that we're in is always like moving and it's always changing. So if you are thinking about having more kids, or if that's something that is your reality now, just know that yeah, like there may be seasons in your life where you can't do as much as you would like. Or like maybe, let's say, like for example, like maybe you were thinking, hey, I really want to take the kids to Disney. Like, I will tell you straight up, Disney is super hard work. And if we were to do that anytime soon, like we would really have to think about it and figure out how we would do that. But maybe it's a case of like, okay, we wanted to go to Disney. We wanted to take a trip as a family, but maybe it's not going to be Disney. Maybe it's going to be something else. And like, it's going to look different than what we thought. And it's okay to make that change. Like, it's okay to pivot. And I think that we all have to be like real with ourselves. Like when it comes to just anything and everything, when it, you know, like in terms of our kids and parenting. I say this a lot, like when I talk about even just like, you know, the kids are homeschooled. I'm constantly thinking about like, what extracurriculars can the kids be doing? And I think I've been saying for years now, like the kids, you know, I want to put them in something, but I also have to be like realistic about it and be like, do I even have the capacity to be taking them to a bunch of extracurriculars right now in this season of life when I have a newborn and I have a toddler, and the amount of help that I used to have, I don't have as much. My mom is busy right now. She's taking care of my grandparents. She's taking care of my sister's kids too. There is that like being real with myself where I have to be like at what point would I be overextending myself? And if we don't sit down and think about that and have that real conversation with ourselves, then I think that is when we reach the point of burnout, or we're just constantly pissed off. Like, I don't want to live my life constantly pissed off because I've overcommitted or overextended myself, all because I'm trying to like please my children or like overcompensate for something, or I feel guilt about something, so I'm gonna try hard to please whoever. I think that it's one of those areas in our lives, like just a lot of us, where we are like these people pleasers. And we're all good moms. Like we all want our kids to have the nicest things and nicest experiences and the vacations and the memories. Like it all comes from a good place typically. It's just like we all have limits, I guess, is what I'm trying to say in this huge ramble. So yeah, I don't think that I really need to say anything else. We were there for a couple of days. We got there Friday, we were there Saturday, and then Sunday, and then we came home Monday, like early in Monday, and we were planning to stay through Wednesday. And so again, I had this big itinerary of things that I was gonna try to do, like what I meant by try to do is like early in the morning or like in the evening, because again, I wasn't going to be stepping foot out the door anytime like between like 11 and like 4 p.m. because it's so hot. And so all those things went out the door. And I think the good thing to remember is that like it doesn't mean that I can never do those things. It doesn't mean that I will never have those experiences with the kids. It just means that it may not be now, and I may have to be more patient, and I may just have to wait until our littles are a little older, and maybe it never happens ever. Like maybe it doesn't, and that should be okay too, because I'm sure that God will bless us with many other experiences and many other things that we're able to do with our kids. And I think it's important that we all also like practice like a heart of gratitude, and that's something that again I've just had to reflect on. Like, am I being grateful for like what I have now? Or am I constantly wanting more and more and more? So yeah, fun times. We are now back home, obviously, and now we have to like unpack our suitcases, which I did, by the way, be proud of me. I unpacked all our stuff and I'm doing laundry. Now I've got some videos that I want to film, and just there's been a lot of reflection that I've been doing and lots on my heart that I want to share with you guys, because I'm sure that a lot of us are just constantly going through similar things. But like the other day, somebody mentioned to me something of like, it's kind of related, semi-related to this. Like somebody had said, oh, like I feel sad now when I watch your videos about homeschooling. Basically the person was saying that I make it seem like homeschooling is amazing, and now they're sad because they can't homeschool. And I wanted to respond to that, and maybe I will in like a different video, but I want to showcase the good of my life, of homeschooling, of whatever, of being a mom, of having 4 kids, like, and I will continue to highlight the good, because there is goodness there. But that doesn't mean that it is all good. There's still bad. Like, there are still cons to homeschooling. Homeschooling is not for everyone, and I've literally made videos on the cons of homeschooling. So I think it's important to share the good, but also some of the more challenging things. And so I hope that by sharing this experience that I show you some of the challenges that we're having and some of the challenging things, not as a means to just complain and not to be like, wow, my life sucks and feel bad for me, but just to show you that reality is like very much like both of those things. It's good and it's bad, and it's like finding the good amongst the bad or the challenging. And like I've always said, like, it's about choosing our hard. It's all hard. Like, homeschooling is hard, not homeschooling is hard. Being a mom is hard, not being a mom is hard. Having 3 kids is hard. Maybe having 4 kids is also hard. Then at the same time, like, having 0 kids may be hard for some people. So like, it is all hard. It's just finding the joy within that, amongst that craziness. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this very unexpected chat. I will be back with more videos. And again, if there's anything you want me to chat more about or you have questions about, just let me know. Hope to vlog soon, but it's just been kind of crazy. So I love your faces. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon in my next video. Bye guys.